Welcome to Marketing from X to Z.
The podcast specifically created for small business owners who want practical marketing advice without the hype.
We're your hosts. This is Mike Albuquerque, representing Gen X.
And this is Liz Bachman, our resident Gen Zer.
We're here to share honest insights, real-world experiences,
and tangible strategies to help your small business thrive.
Hey, Mike, do you want to start a podcast?
Let's do it. We've made it, Liz. Episode 10. Double digits. I mean, we're going to have a Y2K bug or what?
Huh?
Yeah, exactly. What are we talking about today?
Right, immediately confused. So today we're talking about marketing metrics.
Marketing metrics.
Yeah, so basically how to track what you're doing and how to tell what matters.
I like that. That's a good definition.
Yeah.
We'll start doing a definition of the episode.
Okay. Well, now that we're 10 in, we'll start now. Yeah. We're not going back.
That's right. We're developing new things. Now, why are those important?
Why are metrics important?
Yeah.
Because if you're spending money and time on something, you want to know whether or not it's working. And the best objective way to get that is to look at the metrics and how they're tied into your goals.
Okay, I'm taking notes here.
Yeah. What do you mean, why does it matter?
Well, the people want to know. And should I spend the time and effort to actually figure out if it's working or not? Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that depends. Do you like set money on fire for fun? Is that like a thing we do, or?
Yeah. Listen, marketing is, I mean, with all creative fields, right? There's some things that are easily measurable and some that take a little bit more effort, right? You got to read between the lines or between the numbers, however. But
yeah, qualitative and quantitative. Yeah. This is really more about quantitative, though, because it's about metrics, about things we can, it's about numbers, but things that we can go, this had this many things. So, because that's an important part of marketing. It's the part that, I don't know if it's really our favorite as creatives. It gets a little like, but it is super important.
It is,
yeah. So do you have a common misunderstanding that people run into when it comes to metrics?
I think it's mainly just not understanding what they're looking at, not understanding what is being measured, or, what does this mean? Right. There's some lingo, I feel like, with metrics that people might not be super familiar with, like, impressions.
Yeah.
Right. If you're measuring impressions, be it on, a website page or socials, what are you talking about? What's the difference between visits and unique visits?
Yeah, and I think that it doesn't help that different platforms use different words for the same thing. I think that creates a lot of confusion as well.
Yeah.
The one that I run into a lot is people get really fixated on a specific metric because they feel like it's important, but then it's actually a vanity metric. And that's like not helpful for your business. It's great to shoot for it's like nice to feel good about what your metrics are, but when you're using them because I have to have 10,000 followers. Why?
Yeah.
Why? If you can't tell me why, then it's probably a vanity metric.
It's a nice round number. There's some numerology maybe. Is that thing? No.
What?
Never mind. I'm going to my Brazilian side again here.
Okay. Yeah, not that. I think it's because there used to be certain features that would get unlocked at 10,000. So that's where that became a benchmark. And there are still like different features that get unlocked at 1,000, 10,000, and like certain levels of impression, certain monetization things on YouTube. Like there are those things that are still there. So like if that's one of your business goals, then that totally makes sense. For most businesses, though, that is not what they're considering. They've just heard somebody say 10,000 followers, and they're like, that's what I need.
I need 10,000 right now. Can I order them?
Well, yes. Technically, but please don't. Please don't do that. That's bad. That's bad. Don't do that. So when it comes to your marketing metrics and figuring out what's important, right? One of the questions I have written down over here is like, how do you keep from getting bogged down in all of it? And honestly, that answer is super straightforward. They have to tie back to your business goals.
Yeah.
The only metrics that really matter are the ones that tie back to the things that you are actually trying to accomplish. Everything else is noise.
Yes. And there's a lot of it.
There's a lot of
There's a
noise.
lot of noise. There's a lot of lingo. There's a lot of vanity metrics. I've shared this in a previous episode where I like to, I don't like canned reports. I like to digest the metrics and share those with my clients so that they get the narrative of what's going on.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't get that from the raw metrics. So I think you need to be able to not just to read them, but to interpret it.
Yeah, they need to be contextualized. Absolutely. I agree with that. They can get extremely, extremely overwhelmed. So when you're thinking about, right, those metrics and what you choose to show to your clients, or what small business owners who don't have somebody like you sorting through it and then giving them only what they need, how do business owners decide what is important?
It's going to tie back to the goals, right? There are certain hard metrics that, yes, you want to keep an eye on, on the website side of things. You want to know, how are people coming to you, right? Are they coming from a direct link? Are they coming from a post on social? Are they coming from, did they search for a certain term on Google and then land on your page? You can measure all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And you might have to go to a couple different platforms to get a clear view of what that is. But that's just how are people finding you, right? That's a big one. Another one that I'd add on websites is, are folks looking at my website on mobile, or are they looking on a computer?
Yeah, because that's going to change how you...
Yeah, it's typically, the industry average is about half and half, with a little bit more on mobile.
Really?
Yeah, but you'll find there's some sites that it's heavily desktop, B2B sites. So think of people that are searching for your business during their workday.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to be in front of the computer already. And, if they're working a 9-to-5 job or whatnot, hey, it gets to look like they're still doing work, right?
Okay.
I've never done that. Confessions of Corporate America.
I can't be on that podcast. I've never been in corporate America. I took one look at that and went, absolutely not. So on the social side of things, there are different stages that your social media goes through, and different social media objectives that can get tied to different metrics. So when you're first getting started and you don't have an audience at all, you're looking at reach, impressions, and views. All right, so I'm just gonna start that little bit over again. All right, so from a social media perspective, when you're looking at metrics, there's different things that are for different objectives, different social media objectives, right? So if your objective is brand awareness because you have no numbers coming in your door, you don't have enough views or whatever, then you're looking at impressions, reach, and views. Now, reach on social is typically the number of individual users who have seen your content, whereas impressions is the number of times that your content has been seen. Views resemble impressions. Okay. Yeah. So if I were to scroll through my Instagram feed and see a post once, that's one reach and one impression. And then if later that day I were to scroll through again and see that same post, that'd still be one reach, but it'd be 2 impressions.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. So that's kind of for those of us that are not in this field, that's the difference between those. That's going to be what's most important when it comes to doing your brand awareness bit. Then you've got your consideration stage of your marketing funnel, which is your nurturing leads or not even nurturing leads, but you're nurturing potential leads. And so that is going to be your engagement stuff. And no, I'm not just talking about likes. Likes is frankly the lowest form of engagement possible. People don't even remember what they've liked, typically speaking. No. So what I'm talking about is your shares, your comments, your saves, that sort of space. Okay. Because those require an additional piece of effort. Like a save is an intention to come back and look at it, even though most people never do. But it is an intention of, oh, that was valuable enough that I think I will eventually go look back at that, right? Shares is, I thought this was interesting enough that I'm sending it to somebody else, right? Yeah. Comments is, I took the time to comment. So looking at those pieces of it, that's going to be your consideration phase. And then when it comes into I'm actually trying to drive conversions, you're going to be looking at things like profile visits and website taps. Did that piece of content make the person care about the thing enough to go check out the rest of your page? So that is kind of how I look at the different metrics and what would matter. Of course, it's all a little bit tailored depending on your specific strategy, because of course it is, but if you're looking for broad strokes of why you should care about things and when, but make sure that you're doing it in that order, because if you don't have the numbers, you're definitely not going to get the website taps. That's not how that works.
Yeah. And the impression versus views on the websites, it's unique visitors versus page views. Right. So it's the same thing. One unique visitor can view the same page multiple times.
Yeah.
And depending on like those numbers, they tell a story too. Like if you have more than, I would say, 1.2x of page views versus unique visitors, then I think there's got to be a reason why so many people are coming back and viewing that specific page so many times, right? Either they're coming back to find value, either they're not understanding something, or they're still considering the business. So the numbers tell a story, right? But you need to have the numbers to be able to get more insight into what that story is.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what about tracking those metrics? There's a lot going on when it comes to tracking those metrics. You already mentioned a little bit that there were different spaces that you might need to look at in order to get a full view of the website analytics. So how would you go about that? What are some tools without making them super overwhelmed that our listeners might benefit from?
Yeah, I mean, Google Analytics is one where you can go in and view the very basics of what's going on with your site, where people are coming from. If you're a local business, you don't necessarily care, or maybe not care is the right word, but it's not as relative where people are coming from, because they're most likely going to be coming from, well, very locally, if your stuff is set correctly and you can only serve a certain area. Okay. Right. So in there, you can actually set your own dashboard and pick and choose what you want to appear there. And it's not super complicated to do. Yeah. And that's the first level of insight into those numbers, because you can see which pages are the most visited, how many people came to each page, which device they used. Again, you can see where they came from, right? If you're a business, or if that serves all the US, or if you have a product that ships anywhere, then you're going to care a little bit more about where people are coming from, because that might give you insights on different locations that you want to target, right? So it's like you can also have those sent to you as a report. You can set analytics, send that. Looking at Google Search Console to understand what people are searching for to find you. It matters. You can use a tool like SEMrush or Ubersuggest to dig into SEO and see which, even if you're not doing anything with SEO, just to see which keywords you're ranking for. Yeah. Right. That's a little of a metric piece that can help drive content, because now if people are coming to you for a certain keyword, you can use that to create content around it, to build pages out there or optimize pages. It's an awareness thing.
No, that totally makes sense. On my end, I mean, you can look at social analytics natively. However, if you're using a scheduling tool, which you should be using a scheduling tool, if you're using a scheduling tool, it'll give you an overview of everything in one place. And that's largely where I'd start. And then if you're focusing on a specific platform, then you can dive more into the native ones, but each of them have different buttons and different formats and stuff like that. And because there are so many different platforms you could be on, looking at the consolidated versions would be where I would start, and then you can advance into others.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that question, I know there's certain platforms where you can change your profile from being a personal profile to a business profile. Yes. Does that unlock any more metrics or insights?
Yes. Yeah. You get a lot more insights for most social media platforms when you use the professional, business, or creator variations than you do for your personal. I don't even know what analytics you get from your personal, because you can't schedule things if you have it set to personal. You have to have it set to professional or creator or whatever whatever they're calling it. That is their other variation. That has to be set that way in order for you to get scheduling.
Good to know. So if you have a business profile, set it for business.
Yeah, that's a good general rule of thumb. It also can help you avoid like copyright issues too, because it won't allow you to have access to certain sounds and other things that you could get yourself in trouble with if you're using a personal profile, because that wouldn't have those same restrictions.
Got it.
Yeah.
One thing that, not necessarily metrics, but like behavior, I'm going to say metric adjacent.
Oh, okay.
Right? There are, when it comes to the website, tools that you can install there and plugins that give you insight into how people are going around your site. Give you heat maps, or, you know, you can even like record where, you know, a visit on your site.
Microsoft Clarity. Yeah.
Microsoft Clarity. I don't know what effect Clarity has. It used to be, you know what the tool that used to be free for this?
Uh-huh.
Yandex.
I don't have any idea what that
It's
is.
the Russian Google.
Oy.
Used to be that Yandex had a free version of it that you could just install on the site.
Oh, I bet it did. I bet it did.
Don't ask me what year they came out with it.
Oh my God.
But it was a tool. I played around with it. It was free. Here's the thing. It would weigh down your website like crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know what effect Clarity has on the site in terms of page speed, but just be mindful, because some of those tools that are tracking every mouse movement that someone has on your site, they could weigh things down a little bit. It's always anything you add to your website, yeah, it's gonna have an impact, right? The bigger the website, the slower it's gonna be, the more functionality and all that. So just be mindful. It's a trade-off.
It's installed on mine, so we should probably do a speed test to make sure it didn't do anything nasty.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because I want to just see how
Liz is doing it right now. No.
I'm not doing it right now. No, I am not.
I'm not.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so how would when you look at your marketing, how do you personally evaluate it?
I try to keep good tabs on leads.
Okay.
Specifically, measure where they came from. Like we talk about, just simple questions. How'd you find out about me?
Yeah.
Sometimes I can answer those questions, right? Because given a heads up of where they're coming from. I keep close eye, not so much on page volume, like how many visits I'm getting. Like I care less about that, and more about where they're coming from, how they're getting to me, like the keywords that they're coming from. I do keep an eye on my Google Business Profile as well. So if you go to your Google Business Profile, and the way that you get to it, if you're not familiar with it, if you set it up and forgot about it, if you're logged in on the profile that you created that, all you do is you search for your business. And then at the very top of the search, there's going to be like a bunch of icons there that include adding a photo, edit your profile and whatnot. There's one that says performance. And if you click on it, you can see how many visits your profile had that month, how it compared to the previous. I think they showed like 3 months by default, maybe. You can adjust it. You can see how many clicks you had, if you have a phone number, how many calls you got. That's a good little tool because I think Google Business Profile is so important for business that has a web presence. So it's a good spot to look at some of those.
Yeah, no, I always think it's kind of funny because I have this weird trend that happens with mine where my clicks and engagements with my Google Business Profile go up every time my profile visits go down.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's like so if I have more profile visits, I have a lower, it's very odd. I don't know why it does that, but I don't know, probably something worth sorting. Yeah. Most likely it's because people who are seeing it are like searching my name with higher intent, so there's a higher conversion rate but yeah. What about metrics that were once important but have maybe become less important over time? Have you seen anything with that?
I mean, I think you've talked a little bit on the social side, right? That's where I think there's more changes as you get like platform changes and views versus likes. I mean, likes used to be what everyone chased, right? Is that still the case?
Likes is still what individuals chase.
Okay.
But businesses, that's not a good way to measure things anymore. So, I mean, obviously, if you've got like 50,000 followers or something and you've only got 3 likes on your photo, we have a problem we need to address. There is an issue there.
Yeah.
However, generally speaking, we see people focusing in on followers and things of that nature, but we've kind of seen as the algorithms change because, okay, social media companies borrow heavy quotes from each other all the time. And
some more than others.
Yes.
Sponsor us, Meta. Sponsor us.
All right, so basically, Meta sees something that works well, and they're like, "Ooh, we want that." And one of the things that works really well is the For You page on TikTok. Well, the reason that businesses can and creators can blow up on TikTok the way that they can is because the number of followers you have has very little to do with the amount of reach that you can receive.
Yeah.
It also is why a big creator can have a very small amount of views, and it's why a small creator can absolutely blow up overnight at a higher frequency than other platforms.
Yeah, I've gotten some TikTok things on my For You page where I look at a video and it's like 0 likes, 0 comments. Like I look at I always get interested, right? I'm looking at the person, I'm like, they got like 12 followers. Like, what is this thing doing here?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
because it serves things out, right? So that's one of the changes that's been happening is things have been more interest based instead of who you follow based. And so Instagram can't make up its mind about which policy it wants to follow on this. It's changed a bunch. But when you're looking at that, it makes followers matter a little bit less because only a small percentage of your followers see your stuff in the first place. Yeah. So it becomes more about creating content that is interesting to your target audience, that is signaled to the algorithm that it is, which means that it's more about reach and impressions than it is about followers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are the numbers on number of typical views per post, or are they still like, have that changed with Reels? Because I remember seeing some of the general metrics that were when it was more post based for Instagram, and I was like, only 1% of your followers see what you post on average, and I don't know if that changed with Reels or not.
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
It's not really something I've paid all that much attention to, because it varies wildly depending on your niche, and it varies wildly depending on the type of content you're creating, right? Okay. So like, for example, a business page with 700 followers might average with 300 views per video. Now, some people might not like the idea of having 300 views per video, but honestly, that's almost 50% of the audience size that you have as followers. So that's not really a loss. Yeah. But then you've also got people who have 200 followers that in the last month have reached 50,000 people, right? So like it's got to do with how other users interact with your content more than a set of rules about distribution. Okay. Because when you signal to any of these social media algorithms that you are interested in somebody's content, what you're telling them is that you're going to spend time on the platform consuming content like that. And so they'll serve you more content like that to keep you on the platform so they can serve you more ads.
Makes sense.
Right? So like that's really where a lot of that comes from.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, it does. It's a little tangent. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So with when it comes to metrics, we don't have as many fun stories to jump off onto with metrics as we do with some of these other things that we're talking about. So I think it is time for us to move into our wrap-up questions.
Let's do it. Let's wrap this thing up.
All right. So what's one actionable step that listeners can take right after this episode to improve their use of marketing metrics?
I think you can start by deciding what you want to measure.
I was going to say something similar, yeah.
Decide what you want to measure, which is going to tie into business goals. It's going to tie to your target audience, right? But take some time to think through what you want to measure.
Yeah, what I was going to say is mapping your business goals to metrics. If you write down like what do you want to accomplish with your marketing, and then writing down what those metrics are associated with it. And I do really seriously mean write down, don't just ponder, because it gets really easy to forget and move the bar as well. Especially when it comes to metrics, it's really easy to move the bar.
Agree.
Yeah.
So if there's one key principle that people remember from today's discussion as far as marketing analytics go, what should it be?
One key principle, one thing with it is it should tie to the business goal that you are, a marketing objective that you are currently trying to reach, and everything else is noise. The other piece, and we didn't quite go into this, but I think that it's important to think about, is when you create content, you need to have, for that specific piece of content or specific thing you made, a marketing objective in mind so that you can measure its success. Because if you just create stuff and just throw stuff up, there's no way for you to actually measure what's working and what isn't. So your metrics tracking is not helpful because you won't know why something worked.
Yeah. If you don't know why you're doing things, then is there a point in doing them?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. So, and that kind of ties into our last question, which is what business owners should be thinking about and regularly asking themselves when it comes to impactful metrics. And I really do think that it comes down to being intentional with creation and tracking according to those metrics with where you are.
Yeah.
Because I think metrics for metrics' sake is not particularly beneficial.
Yeah. I think there's this old adage, right? What gets measured gets done.
Yes.
Right. So if you're measuring it, I think it's also going to make you just be more purposeful about making sure the marketing task is getting done and, ensuring that it is still connecting to that objective. It's still speaking to that audience. It's still relevant to your business and to your goals overall.
Yeah.
So keeps you on top of it.
Absolutely. So the metrics conversation is not necessarily the most exciting conversation for creatives like us, but it is really important when it comes to deciding what is and is not worth your time. And as we mentioned in our last episode, your money when it comes to marketing.
Yeah, you can't know what the ROI is of marketing without measuring it. So
absolutely. So with that, I think that this episode's closed up.
Wrap it up. We'll see you next time on episode 11.